everyone. Welcome back to Inside Outer Cape, Provincetown Real Estate with Nate and Laura. I'm Laura Potenza, and
I'm Nate Butera.
And we're joined once again by Tony, because he still won't stop chewing. So today we're going to talk about a really big topic for buyers, which is home inspections. We're going to talk about what they mean, what you can negotiate, and the new Massachusetts rules that everybody needs to understand.
Mm-hmm. Inspections used to be a little bit more straightforward, but with the new statewide regulatory changes that went into effect, it's more important for everybody to understand what your rights are and how this process works now.
Right. So the big question is, can buyers use the inspection to get a better price?
So the short answer...
Sometimes. but it depends on the market and what the inspection reveals.
Right. So inspection is not a guaranteed price reduction tool. It is a due diligence tool. It shouldn't be viewed as a way to get more money off. It's in good faith should be used to find out looking to have as much information as possible on what you are about to make a giant purchase on.
Right.
And then if you find whatever you find out in the inspection, we will help you and walk you through your options in going forward. And sometimes that means a credit, reduction in the purchase price, or repairs that the seller will perform.
Right. But we should talk about what the legitimate issues are. Mm-hmm. And those are safety hazards, major system failures, structural integrity, mm-hmm. Mechanical systems, environmental concerns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we'll touch on environmental concerns for a second. Mm-hmm. So, those are things like radon, mold, pests. Those are often add-on inspections. Your home inspector can do radon. And they will look for visible signs of mold and pests. Mm-hmm. But to get a full picture, if you are concerned about that, you can have an additional inspection for mold or for pests. We don't often see that in town. We often don't see radon testing because, from what I understand, radon exists when there are large quantities of granite bedrock.
Right.
And
which we don't
the Outer Cape.
Yes, because we're just all on the stand.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. And so how long does the inspection take? It typically takes 2 to 3 hours in a single family home, usually about an hour and a half to 2 hours in a condo, depending on the size.
Yeah.
Older homes, though, especially the historic ones, they can take longer because the inspectors have to spend more time in the attics and crawl spaces, and there's mechanical areas that aren't always straightforward.
Right. And people always want to know, like, do I have to be present for the inspection? Mm-hmm. And you don't have to be there, but right. we strongly recommend
it. Mm-hmm. Being there, it does help the buyers understand not only what's wrong, but how the home actually works. Which Tony is snoring, which systems need maintenance, what's normal for a home, that age, what's typical for Provincetown. Mm-hmm. Your inspector is always an amazing source of information if you're there. I've done numerous inspections via FaceTime because sometimes it's just not practical for the buyer to be present. So mm-hmm. that is definitely an option.
And the inspector is great. I mean, the inspector, if you're there even on FaceTime, the inspector can tell you like where your water main is and how to turn that off. Mm-hmm. Your inspector can tell you what kind of heating system you have or where certain things are. It's a good idea to know these things, when you go in.
Right. So I think next we should talk about the different types of inspection contingencies.
I mean, we generally only see 2 types.
Right.
One is that the inspection, it says, based on the results of the inspection, you can cancel the contract.
Right.
And the other one says, I will accept up to a certain amount. of repairs before I will cancel the contract.
Right.
Now, do you have to cancel the contract?
No.
But the threat of canceling the contract then becomes pressure on whether or not you negotiate further terms.
Right.
So those are the two types of contingencies.
Right.
And then again,
right. But and the buyer can still choose not to do an inspection, but only after they receive the offer.
right?
Is
Yeah. Well, I think what you're trying to say is, so in the new regulations, you cannot communicate to the seller that you intend to not do
an
You
inspection.
must include the inspection contingency in the offer to purchase.
Right.
But must you have an inspection after the offer is accepted?
No.
But you cannot communicate in any way.
Yeah.
It's to protect both parties. Protects the buyer because they get to have an inspection now if they want one.
Right.
Because in a competitive market, people are tempted to waive the inspection to get the property. But now you can't waive it.
Right.
It protects the seller because what if the buyer buys a house and then something really dangerous is discovered and now they can sue you?
Right. So it's good all around. So I guess the bottom line is that you still have flexibility in how you structure your contingency.
And remember, that's what we're there for.
Right.
So whatever, we're there to help you with the inspection. We'll be there for the inspection, whether you are or not. And we will talk you through next steps.
Yes, because that can be probably... I sometimes I think that the negotiating the inspection is even more nerve-wracking for both parties than the actual price.
Absolutely. People often think that's the most
stressful part of the transaction is negotiating
the price. But but often it's even more stressful after the inspection.
Oh, yeah.
Can be more contentious.
Yeah, because it's personal.
It is.
People don't want to hear that there's,
something wrong with their house.
Wrong with their home.
Yeah.
So
it's a delicate.
It's a very delicate situation, and
we're pretty good at it.
Yeah.
We've both been through the ringer on several inspections.
Yes.
But that's what we're there for, and we'll guide you through every.
Yeah. So remember, the goal of the inspection is not, it's clarity. It's not perfection. And we can't wait to help you interpret those results and make smart decisions.
So if you're buying or selling in Provincetown or anywhere on the Outer Cape, the understanding inspections is essential, and especially with now the new statewide regulations.
Right. So thanks for watching Inside Outer Cape, Provincetown Real Estate with Nate and Laura.
And Tony.
Our special guest. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.